Well, welcome along to CrossFit Llanelli's podcast episode 2. This is 2025, February's episode. And during February, the CrossFit Open is going to be taking place around the world, but especially in CrossFit Llanelli. So in this episode, we're going to be hearing from Adam, encouraging us, explaining to us what the Open is and why we should participate in it. We're going to be hearing from Elaine, somebody who has joined our gym since the last Open and is signing up for her first Open this year, as well as recapping some of the things that our members have been up to since the year began. Without any further ado, let's dive in.
If you've got any injuries or niggles, just let me know and we'll work around it.
Adam, welcome back to the pod, my man.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, Brad. I'm very well. How are you doing?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Excellent. All good.
Fresh off of training and jumping online to chat to me a little bit about the Open that is coming up.
Yeah, that's
How
correct.
many times have you done the Open?
I think this is my, let me think, 8th year.
8th year. Okay. Veteran.
The first Open I did was when I was in the RAF. When I came back, as I said in the last episode, came back from Iraq. The Open was about, I think it was like 4 months later, could be 5 months later. And it was still when it was 5 weeks long. And I came back and forth. So I was coming back home and I joined the gym by this point. And I did the first 3 weeks. And in the last 2 weeks, I couldn't come back because I had to go away for both of those weekends with the Air Force. So if you look at my scores on the leaderboard from, I think it was 2017, I've only got 3 scores for the first 3 weeks. But I did do the last 2 weeks, but up on the base. As you can imagine, somebody doing a CrossFit workout in a global gym, I had some crazy looks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first year, in a similar way, this is going to be my 5th year on the CrossFit leaderboard, but it's my 6th year. The first year, I hadn't joined CrossFit Llanelli at that point. Charlotte was a member.
Yeah.
I knew what CrossFit was, and I tried a couple of them in the leisure centre in Amford, and I literally remember the looks that I was getting, trying to scale and modify so that I could do it there. And yeah, it was good luck. But before we go any further, just so that people know, the CrossFit Open is a global competition where men, women, boys and girls from CrossFit gyms in almost every nation on earth will be taking part, competing in one sense, in 3 workouts over 3 weeks. It's step 1 for qualifying for the CrossFit Games, although that doesn't really matter to most people. But it's every Thursday, a new workout announced, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, people in our gym making a stab at their best score, their best time, whatever it is for the various workouts. And I just wanted us to spend today, this month's pod, just thinking about why the Open is something that everybody in our gym should actually be signed up for. So I don't know whether you wanted to kind of get the ball rolling. I'm sure we'll bounce off one another, but get the ball rolling. Like, you're not going to the games. Sorry, mate. I'm not going to the game. So what on earth is the point in anybody doing the CrossFit Open?
So as you just said, Sam, the Open is the biggest online fitness competition in the world. It has been for, I don't know how many years the Open's been going for, 15 years maybe. It's grown each year. I say that from an affiliate point of view, no doubt it's the biggest event in the calendar in terms of getting everybody together. You all go into a leaderboard. You can see where you stack against everyone else. There's great competition between friends, fellow members in the gym. But also as well is that it's excellent for new members to come. So then they can have an insight into as we always talk about, the community in the gym and the events we hold. It's such a great way for them to come and see what it's all about. I said, yes, it really is, it's a standout moment for the gym club that time of the year.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that 100%. So there are other points in the year, like when we'll run in-house competitions and more than your regular class folks are there. The box is buzzing. There's people from CrossFit Llanelli you didn't really know were part of CrossFit Llanelli. There are folks taking part in different ways with helping out and everything. So like the experience of doing the open together is like, it is letting you in on something that we've been talking about. We were talking in the 10-year anniversary about the community. We got the phrase at the bottom of the screen there, strength and community. Like that's all about. So especially a Friday Night Lights, for example, that shines through, doesn't it? Everyone cheering one another on, everyone giving encouragement, points, tips, helping with judging, all of these sorts of things. It's a massive thing of grabbing people together. But I think you probably got two groups of people in our gym who, for different reasons, will say they don't want to take part in the open. Okay, so I just want you to answer or encourage both of these into doing the open. So the first group of people will be someone who is new to CrossFit. They weren't around when the open happened last year. Maybe they've been doing CrossFit since January, New Year's resolutions or what have you. And they're thinking to themselves, well, I need to learn how to do CrossFit a little bit, or I need to learn to be a little bit fitter, and then I'll join in with whatever it is that you guys are doing. So that's person number one. Person number two would be someone who's done the CrossFit Open 4 or 5 times. Maybe at one point would have been thinking, oh, my year's training, I could possibly get to quarterfinals or something like that. But this year just thinks, do you know what? I can sort of pick and choose whichever workouts they announce that I like the look of. I might turn up and cheer people on, but other than that, I'm not really going to be involved in myself. That's person number two. So how would you encourage those two different people? Start off with the person who's never done the open and who thinks it's something for them, but not yet.
So person number one, for me, it's absolutely ideal for. There's no better way of seeing where your fitness level is or seeing what skills you need to improve on than doing the open, because it keeps you very honest, if that makes sense, in terms of, you come to the gym, maybe, you're not so familiar with the movements and standards required. And as a coach, I constantly bang on about standards and correct movement, and let's not try to cheat the reps, etc. Also you get judged on these workouts, so you're getting scored. It keeps you accountable then, definitely. So for those people who are thinking, oh, maybe next year, I've been here for a year and I'm a bit fitter, it's absolutely ideal for you to start. And you'd also get you, as we said, give you a feel for the gym, give you a feel for what the open is. Yeah, so I those people are really the ones who need to decide in that, to be honest. Not people not so much as person number two who've done opens before, but person number one, if there's ever a reason for you to do the opens, because you're brand new. And then I think also after the opens finished, everybody you speak to is like, oh, I'm so glad I signed up. I got friends in the gym who joined this time last year. I was telling them, look, do the open. The same conversations we're having now, more or less. And they were saying at the time, no, I don't see the point. Give me next year when I learn more movements and, got some fitter. They done the open, and at the end of it, they said, thank God I done that.
So what would you say to the person who was like the other end of the spectrum then? They've done it a couple of times and they just think, do you know what? I've had that out of it and I'm not sure I fancy spending 15 quid or however much it is to take part. What would you say to them?
Those people, so the ones who they know what the open is, they've had that community feeling before. So, even if they did say, for instance, they didn't want to do the open, they contribute, should be coming along to encourage the people who are doing it, and also helping the new members of the gym. But, we all have those moments of where like training isn't going so well and you think, oh, I don't know if I fancy it this year. But they know, as they've done it before, that once they get into it, they start doing it, they're the most competitive people in the gym.
Yeah, I think CrossFit themselves speak about the open as if it's some sort of benchmark for us. It's like a line in the sand where every year we go and we test and through the open, like assess our standard of fitness. And, there's something in us that wants every year improvement upon improvement upon improvement. And lots of people's open scores like bears that out, that they'll have been 50th percentile, 54th, and then 62nd, and then 63rd, that sort of thing. So there is the growth, there is the improvement. But I think even if you genuinely anticipate not having improved significantly from last year, maybe you've had an injury, maybe life has gotten in the way and you haven't trained as much in the last 12 months as you had the 12 months before, things like that. For me, I think there's going to be genuine shocks and surprises and encouragements for people to see how much like CrossFit maintains fitness as well as building fitness. And it's not so much then for me like looking back over my shoulder, the last 12 months have been rubbish, but thinking, okay, I'm at this stage now, let's draw a new line in the sand and let's see where I can get in the next 12 months. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. But you're 100% right there. It is what you're saying. I think it was also a great way as well of exposing your weaknesses. And you may think, some people may think, I haven't got that many weaknesses, or I can't really think of any holes in my fitness game. And then the open comes along, and then it's always something, always a movement, or there's a workout, or the way it's programmed, something comes up, and everybody thinks, oh my gosh, what's going on? I didn't even expect that. It could be like wall walks, shuckle runs, these strict handstand push-ups. I remember when strict handstand push-ups came up the first time, people just, not they didn't know what to do, they knew how to do the movement, but because it wasn't like a mainstream movement, it wasn't done often in the affiliates, people really had to go to the drawing board and work on it. And personally, I'd love to see that come back up, strict handstand push-ups. I think that, I didn't even seen it once. I'm right in saying seen it once. But movements like that where you don't see often, something is there always there to expose you. And I think that's part of the duty as well. At the time, it's frustrating, but that's what keeps you accountable.
Absolutely. And just to put a little caveat on that, someone listening who isn't anywhere near doing any sort of handstand push-up might hear that and think, oh, well, there we are. You've proved your point, ads. I can't do handstand push-ups, so I shouldn't enter. The open, just like all of CrossFit, is infinitely scalable, and there are modifications that you can do. And for me, one of the best moments in the last couple of years was, I can't remember if they were a year apart or 2 years apart, but there were wall walk programmed in different open workouts. And there was somebody who spent basically the entire WOD, the entire open workout, say 2021, trying and sort of being able to do 4 or 5 wall walks. 12 months later, 24 months later, however what was, they just weren't a problem, just breezing through it and just being able to say like the difference that is made week by week. Probably wouldn't have noticed times in workouts coming down. We probably would have noticed, strength numbers going up and various things like that. But it was just 12 months night and day that they couldn't really do wall walks, and then 12 months later they could, and that was just amazing to see.
We always get those ones every year where someone may get, say, their first muscle up, or say their first wall walk, or lift up a PR, lifting a weight. There's always a moment every year in the open, and it's magic. It's absolute magic. I think I seen there was a photo. I'm sure it was last year, maybe the year before, and somebody had their first muscle up, and there was someone in the background who had captured the rest of the gym's reaction, and you can see there's genuine joy on people's faces. It's incredible.
Yeah. The atmosphere. I say Friday Night Lights, but it doesn't really matter, you're in the box, people know you're doing an open workout, and just everybody kind of like tunes in and comes alive and is supporting you in like an extra special way, I think, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like the way I see it is, it's like you're going to watch like a football match, because the people there who are cheering you on now, they're like football fans. They're like genuinely supporting you. And these people as well, the people you're competing against on the leaderboard, it's such a special event on the 3 weeks. I got a question for you, Sam. Sorry.
Go for it.
I got a question,
Yeah.
a question for you. How do you feel about a 3-week open? Do you think it should be 5 or 4? What do you think with a 3-week format?
I'm trying to think whether I've ever done it more than 3. So the first one I actually signed up for was the 2021 Open, when we couldn't do it in the gym. So Charlotte and I had to record one another up there in the garden. I had to buy a pull-up bar and learn how to do chest bar pull-ups and things like that. And I think that was 3 weeks with 4 scores.
I think that's a full 3 weeks.
I like it. I mean, I'm the sort of person, and this isn't by any means what everyone has to do, who likes to do it on a Friday, then recover a bit, strategize a little bit, and then like go really hard on it on the Monday. Like, I feel like that's the best way for me to get the best scores that I can. So in a sense, I've been frustrated in the past of how much the open impacts just my general training. It kind of knocks my routine out, and I'm a guy who likes routine. So if it was more than 3 weeks, I think it would stress me out big time. And, I know there's arguments that could be made for 5 weeks. It's a broader test. So if you're going to give me like this number, this ranking, which is almost defining my fitness, it's a more accurate ranking after 5 weeks than 3. I don't think I've felt hard done by doing a 3-week open for the last couple of years. What do you think?
I did 5 weeks in the first 2 years, and I found it long. I did find the first 2 years long. It does affect training, because your focus then at times on the open. So as you said, you may do Friday Night Lights, you may have started to recover, you may do a bit of training on Sunday, weightlifting, or light work, and do it again on the Monday. So and then you got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you almost come back up on Friday. So it does impact training. However, I personally would like to see a 4-week open. I think 3 is a bit short. I think like the time you've got into it and you've sort of like got your rhythm going, then if that makes sense, it's almost over.
Right.
I would like to see a 4-week open. I think 3 is a bit short, and for me 5 is too long. People, I think a lot of people have done 5, 3, 4. Obviously, I will have a different opinion. Some of them love it, some of them don't. For me, it would be a 4-week would be ideal, I think.
I think, total cat amongst the pigeons is that I really enjoyed the setup of quarterfinals last year. I think we had 4 or 5? Yeah, 5 workouts to do, and we had 5 days to do them in or something like that. So I quite enjoyed just setting aside the time and thinking about doing 2 a day for the days that I could get down to the box, but that's something different altogether. I know that. When I was prepping for this and just thinking about, what would be my reasons to give to people about why they should sign up for the open, I remembered something, I think it's in the L1, Coach Glassman wrote about why CrossFit is always done like in a measurable way, for time, for reps, for weight, that sort of thing. And he said, that men will die for points. That as soon as you make it into like a competition or a game, that our effort levels, our intensity increases like loads. And that is so true for me personally. It's one of the things I love the most about CrossFit is that there's always some like game going on. Can I beat myself? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do the other? And so I think one of the best reasons I can give to sign up for the Open is that it will make you push more than you would otherwise. Like without a shadow of a doubt, it doesn't matter how like motivated you are going to the box on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is, to work to a certain level. The knowledge that this is a competition, the knowledge that your score is going onto a leaderboard, the knowledge that everybody else is going to be looking at it and thinking, oh, Adam's posted his time. That's giving me something to wait. All of those things will mean that there's more intensity about what you're doing. And sort of coupled with that, I think, is just there's 4 or 5 weeks to go until the Open. And having something in the diary that you know that you are going to be trying 100% at, for me, just gives you like that little objective, that's something to aim for. I think I'm probably right in saying for most of us that when we have like a goal in sight, it makes it so much easier to work towards that goal rather than just saying, well, I'm going to do CrossFit to get better, ... to get fitter, ... I don't really know what that means. But to have like this specific thing in the diary, in the calendar, I'm going to be consistent and committed over the next couple of weeks because I know that I want to give my best effort when the Open comes around. So for me, they're two really good.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's for everybody. Any end of the spectrum, that should help us be motivated for the Open.
Yeah, and it helps you. It also helps you for training for the next year as well. I don't know anybody who has done the Open and then not taken into account how they performed, and they're not trying to make themselves better in the next year. And I'm not talking about. I understand people don't have time to do. Not everybody has time to do the optional extra or work on their skills. However, what it does do is that there'll be times in the Open where somebody will try their first muscle up. Like, so must have always come up, so they'll try their first muscle up. But they may not have had confidence in the class to try one before. They've always gone to do pull muscle ups with the bands or jumping muscle ups or always a scale then. So, after the Open, say they come up again in a workout, that person, I'm telling you, every single time, they will try, they can still be scaling, but they'll try a bit of more progression. So, it's something it gives you a reason to keep working and to keep, making yourself better every day.
Yeah, I think, and that's sort of what I had my idea in my head of like, it sets the agenda for the next 12 months. So it's not just like the receipt for what you have been doing for the last 12, but it's like, here it is. This is what I want to get better at. This is, if I have an extra session, if I have 30 minutes after a class, what is it that I'm going to go and work on? It's what's to come then as well, not just what has gone. So can I ask you, what are you hoping to see in this year's Open?
I would like to see. My favorite Open workout is 19.1. 15-minute AMRAP, 19 cal row, 19 wall balls. Being taller, I enjoy both those movements. So I'm not saying I'd like to see 19.1 come up again. If the day was a repeat, then great. But I would like to see rowing and wall balls. Yeah, and
Specifically
that's
put together in a wad. Do you want them put together, or would you like to have?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Either or. They wouldn't have to be together. I mean, rowing and wall balls are quite brutal together. But I do enjoy them. Enjoy both movements. Toaster bar as well. I'd like to see come up. I have lots of things I wouldn't like to see come up though. I think that I enjoy running, but shuttle runs in the open, it's been overused now. I think 2 or 3 years in a row.
We didn't have them last year.
Yes, we
didn't
did.
have.
We had them last year. We had the Derby pull-ups, wasn't it?
No, that was the year before.
Was it the year before?
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. I don't know, shuttle runs. Like I say, enjoy running, but I don't know.
So that either means they've had a year off, they're definitely coming back, or CrossFit decided, as you did, that shuttle runs are not a great thing to be doing in the open, so they've scrapped them altogether. So it's either good news that they weren't there last year, or it's bad news that last year.
I tell you what, I would also like to see is straight handstand push-ups. I'd like to see them come up again. But the only thing with that is that I'm not a fan of the line CrossFit put out. In terms of like the maximum width your hands are going to be. The line, for me, the line is about well, I think it's shorter than my shoulders. It's less. That's why my hands are coming in. So that's not ideal. But I do also understand that somebody with less broad shoulders, holding a smaller frame, obviously the wider the line is for them, the better. Well, for everyone really, but especially if you're if you got a smaller frame. So yeah, I think so it's interesting how that.
You can find lists of which movements have come up the most in CrossFit open workouts. And I'm pretty sure, having looked at them in past years, that toaster bar, wall balls, and rowing are 3 of the movements that have come up. They're way up in the top half of the movements. So you're going to be a happy boy, I think.
Yeah, but then what about, say they hop in 1 week, the other 2 weeks, then we'll have, I don't know, shuttle runs and, I don't know, some sort of gymnastic movement I'm not a fan of.
Last year's week 1 was the dumbbell snatch and burpees.
Yeah.
And if you ask me for any 2 movements to come up, it would be dumbbell snatch and burpees.
Do you remember last year, you did it behind me? Do you remember we went exactly the same time, and you were behind me, and you absolutely smashed it, and I remember looking over, and I was like, I thought, no way can you be finished this quick. But you were, and you hammered that one.
Your words, man, not mine. But that meant then my 2 favourite things had gone. So it was just scrapped for the rest of the open, which was a little bit disheartening. I think I'd have preferred it either for that to be the last workout in the open, or if it had been dumbbell snatches in one workout and burpees in another. But so I quite like
double swords, isn't it? Having a good week on week 1 is, it's a bit of hit or miss. Either it can elevate you and you are an unbelievable open, because in reality, if you have a good week 1, you only need one more good workout, to be somewhere decent on the leaderboard. You can probably get away with one bad workout, obviously depending on what your goal is. But then again, if you have a bad week 2 and 3, it can really disappoint you if you started off such a good start.
Sure.
So, it's one of those, isn't it? That's the beauty of the open, isn't it, I think?
Well, speaking of the open, right, I've got the CrossFit Llanelli leaderboard here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Time of recording, there are 9 of us on there. And I can say 7 of those are women, 2 of them are men. 1 of them is me. The other is Liam Cording, who's only started coming in the last couple of weeks. So he was the first guy from our gym to sign up, even though he's never done it before. And I was chatting to him about it last night, and he was just like, might as well give it a go, see where I am. And I just love that attitude. He's just in, and he's going to benefit the most out of that. And of course, this year they're doing prizes for the affiliates who sign up the most people. So if we sign up, that might be some new Rogue kit for our gym as well, which would
be cool, wouldn't it?
Be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Any other closing thoughts, Brad?
No, I remember. I can't remember what the page is now, but last year I seen there was a UK CrossFit media page, and and every year, Chalking Fitness it is. Every year he does like the top 10 UK affiliates sign up. And I've seen some gyms on there, and I think to myself, we can beat that. I'd love to see CrossFit Llanelli up on there because in my opinion, and looking at other affiliates around it, we've got one of the best affiliates in the country by an absolute mile. So I think that it's a bit of recognition for the gym nationally. I think where it deserves to be, I think, it'd be so good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with that
Yeah.
anymore. Absolutely. Right, my brother.
Thank you.
I shall leave you get on. Thanks for joining us. And if anybody wants to chat to myself or Ads about the Open in person, we will be thrilled to give you our opinions and offer some suggestions and help to make sure that folks get the most out of it as well. Okay? Cool.
Thank you.
Woo! CrossFit, baby!
Elaine, welcome to the podcast. For those who don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name's Elaine. I joined CrossFit Llanelli last March, and it's probably the best thing I've ever done. I'm 59, nearly 60, and I still feel like I'm in my 40s. Just want to keep going, really.
And keep going, you do. So you joined CrossFit Llanelli last March. You were part of the influx when we knocked a wall down, made the gym bigger. So did you ever come to CrossFit Llanelli before that? Had you seen the old style gym, or do you only know there's now?
I only saw it when it was a sort of L shape.
Yeah.
Before, I think maybe we'd done 1 week. And then I think that weekend you knocked the rest of the wall down or something, or the whole wall.
So you'd snuck in. Okay, so you are aware of the big change that has taken place. But you were doing CrossFit before you came to CrossFit Llanelli. So why don't you tell us a little bit of how you found out about CrossFit? What got you to start doing it in the first place?
Okay, so I was a member of a gym, which I loved. I had a PT. We do boot camps, circuits, it was a cross section. It wasn't just going to the gym or doing classes. It was really good. I enjoyed it. And then the owner decided he was going to open a CrossFit box there, and was trying to persuade us to join. And I was like, no, I don't want to join. I'm happy where I am, But, he sort of kept on. So I thought, I'll give it a go. If I don't like it, I can go back to doing what I'm doing. And I would say probably for the first month, I had no idea what was going on. It was just like white noise. It was looking at the whiteboard going, what on earth is that? I'm never going to do that. I couldn't even do an overhead squat. So it's been a massive learning curve. I stuck at it because I'm really stubborn. I just don't want to give in. So I thought, I've made the commitment now. I'm going to go for it. And I have to say, I'm really glad. Really glad.
Being stubborn is a good attribute to have for CrossFit. Some people might call it determined, or put a sort of a nicer word on it. But that ability just to, you're there. It's on the whiteboard, so it's tough luck you're doing it, and you just grind it out is a really good thing to have. Did you have any sort of, so you said you were going to the gym already. Did you have any sort of background in sports, or were you particularly active? I know that you're a mother, so were there things that you did with the kids, or?
Yeah, I did. I was really active in school. I used to run for school and play hockey, which I kept up in work when I worked when the children were young. I worked for the civil service, so we had our own civil service sports and social club. So we would have a sports day every year, so everyone would just have a go at something. So that carried on. And then it wasn't until I moved back to Swansea. No, when I was in Shropshire, I did join a gym up there. So my children now are in their 30s, so they would have been very young at this point. And it sort of that sort of introduced me to more to the gym life rather than going out running or joining a local hockey team, you know, just to have I never played for the team, but I would join in with training, you know, when I was older. So I did that.
So you've always wanted to use your body, to sweat, to expend energy and things like that.
Yeah, my children will tell you that even, you know, a quiet evening in would be the stereo on full blast and we'd all be running around the lounge playing games or doing squats or burpees, you know, or the old like this, all sorts of things.
Aerobics exercises.
Press
So you
ups,
said
you
that
name it.
in a way you were forced into CrossFit. You were happy
Yeah.
going to the gym, doing circuits, doing
Yeah.
PT sessions, what have you, and you were forced to give CrossFit a go. You obviously enjoy it. You said you love it. What about CrossFit has kept you coming back?
Apart from the fact I've learned a new way to train, I don't feel like I'm just working out now. I feel like I'm actually training. I've got goals and, you know, I can see where I'm doing well or not so well. Not that I take it that seriously, if you understand, but at least I know where I am. But for me, it's more the community. It's definitely the community. You could be the last one finishing and they're still cheering you on. You know, I will say to some people like, oh, I only lifted. And they'd say, only lifted, you know, and they'd be questioning me, say, don't say that. It's you lifted or you did this, you know, and it's all very supportive.
Were
They're
you
like my
tempted?
friends now.
Were you tempted when the other gym you were going to closed the CrossFit to knock CrossFit on the head?
Oh,
What was
God,
it that
no.
made you say, right, well, if this one isn't open, we're going to go and find another one and walk into CrossFit Llanelli?
Well, we had a small community there, and we were all quite close. It was a little bit because we didn't really know where we stood with what was happening. We didn't, you know, he obviously can't see the affiliation, and we didn't know, and there was all sorts of that going on, and none of us would leave because we didn't want to leave like our friends behind. So when they finished, we all decided, right, we're all leaving. We'll just because the CrossFit. The way that CrossFit is run and the community suited us. And so we all left together.
Yeah. To the benefit of CrossFit Llanelli. So
Well, I don't know.
when you joined, we had just finished the Open in Llanelli. Have
Yeah.
you ever done the CrossFit Open before?
No, I've not registered to do it properly. We used to do the workouts, the WODs that would come up. So say the WOD would come out on a Friday. On the Monday in class, you would do that WOD, but
Yeah.
never officially, no. I
Okay.
always felt I was a bit old, to be honest, but I don't know, I'm quite tempted to do it this year.
Well, it's very much a part of our gym culture. Friday night lights, people redoing stuff on a Monday. Every class in between, there'll be somebody who is doing it, willing to judge and everything. So basically, you have to do it, Elaine.
All right, okay.
So you've done some of the sort of open workouts before. You know the sorts of things that come up. If Elaine could concoct the perfect open workout, what would it look like?
I quite like rowing. I like pull-ups. I like double unders. I don't put a thruster in there.
Okay, let's not go negative yet. We're going to get to the negative.
What else
So
do I
there's
like?
three things there: rowing, pull-up, double unders.
Yeah.
How sort of long? What's the sweet spot for the length of a WOD for you?
If there wasn't any weight involved, you know, not too heavy, that sort of 15 to 20 minutes would be okay. If you're going to talk about throwing in a few cleans or deadlifts or something, then I'd have to go slower. I'd have to have it shorter. I just couldn't. I don't know how I'd cope with that.
Okay, well, rowing, double unders, pull-ups, they're almost all certainly going to be in the open, so you're in for luck. You mentioned thrusters there. If there was going to be like a WOD that came out that you would just be like, gutted, what would that be?
Snatches. Hate them. Power snatches, not so bad, but the actual snatches, I do them because I have to. I hate them. And thrusters. I don't like thrusters either. I don't mind wall balls. They're, if you have to do a thruster, I'd rather do a wall ball.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what that means. Not only do you have to sign up for the open, but you have to go to more weightlifting classes with bows and e-shots.
No, I know.
Do you go
I
to
know.
weightlifting?
No. I'm
Tuesday
a chicken.
evenings, Wednesday afternoons. Come on, no excuses.
I know.
So you said as well that you feel like when you're doing CrossFit, you're training, you've got goals. Would you be brave enough to share any of your goals for this year?
Yes, I want to string some toes to bar, but I really struggle with my lower back, and I just can't get my legs up high enough. I need to work on that. And I wanted to work on handstand push-ups, the kipping. And in the WOD on Saturday, I did 2 but they were 2 risers, but I couldn't even do those. But I did them in the middle of a WOD. So I thought, well, that's one goal knocked off, or I can work,
Well,
But
that's the class
the way you feel when you've done it, it was awesome. I felt, oh my gosh, I've done 2. So
yeah. Well, I think there's something about doing them in the middle of a WOD as well. Like counterintuitively, sometimes we think, well, I'm going to be more fatigued, I'm going to be more tired, I won't be able to do it. But like mid-WOD, you're loose, your blood is pumping, probably there's a bit of adrenaline going as well. And that's actually
no one's watching you. No one's watching you either. So you can fall over. No one,
I'm sure someone's there with a camera filming for reels.
Well, I hope Bose is watching, or one of the instructors, but coaches, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Elaine, I am looking forward to seeing you on the leaderboard for this year's CrossFit Open. So you'll be in the 55 to 60 age category. That's also another thing to remember. So probably a difficult year for you. Next year, when you age into the next category, that's when you're really
I've
going to be able
missed
to make
it by about 2 months. Yeah.
So there we go. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to let me introduce you to the gang. And
You're welcome.
See you at the box.
Finish with 100 wall balls.
Well, I hope that our podcast episode has encouraged you and inspired you to sign up for the Open for the first time, or to come into this year's Open with renewed vigor and desire to push yourself to the absolute limits. If you haven't already, well then why not just sign up for the Open? You can do it loads of different ways. You can download the app onto your phone, sign up through there. You can head over to crossfit.com or just search in any old web browser, sign up to the CrossFit Open, and you'll be able to do it. It's not very much money. It is absolutely 100% worth your time and your effort to do that. So go and do that now. Well, not exactly now. Finish the episode before you do that. And if you have signed up for the Open, if you are taking part, well, then can I encourage you, with no skin in the game at all, to go over to Team Up on the web. I think you have to do it on the web. And grab one of the limited edition CrossFit Llanelli Friday Night Lights CrossFit Open t-shirts. There they are. They're up on the screen if you're watching this. Sorry if you're listening to it. In brown, in cream, in blue and green, cropped and not cropped. They're a nice, thick, sort of solid material, I believe, with the 10-year logo on the front and a couple of different designs on the back. Something just to demonstrate our participation, especially in CrossFit Llanelli. So head over and buy one of those. I think the end of the first or second week in February is the deadline for getting those. So please do go over and grab one of those as well. Right. forgetting about the open, let me just finish off the entire episode by highlighting some of the things that our members were involved in this month. And aside from our 10-year anniversary dinner, which I think was a smashing success, we had a good number of people heading down to the Forge in Carmarthen to take part in their sort of strongman, Olympic lifting, CrossFit mashup competition. 3 events, different kind of areas that they were focusing on. And you can't really overstate this. CrossFit Llanelli absolutely dominated. On the scaled or everyday side of it, we had winners, Fionn and Johnny, and runners-up, Sam and Sophie. And in the RX division, we had, again, the winners, Jess and Reese. And in third place, picked right at the end, Ash and Kath, proving really that it doesn't matter what you test CrossFitters at, we will end up coming up on top of the pile. 4 out of 6 podium places occupied by CrossFit Llanelli teams. That is amazing. Well done, guys, for putting your fitness to good use and showing off not just our gym, but the CrossFit methodology down there, that even if it's strongman or powerlifting or straight up metconning, we're the people to be feared. Well, that's the end of the episode. If you haven't already, please make sure that you like this episode, subscribe to this episode, wherever it is that you are listening. Probably there's a way for you to put comments or questions. That really helps in terms of getting this out, but it will also help me and the other guys who are contributing to think about how the episode is put together and what things we could be discussing in future episodes to make it most worthwhile you're listening. So if there's something that you want to pick up on for us to look at again from episode 1 or this episode, or if there's a question that you want me to nag Andy to answer, or Andrew, or anyone to grab them on and to have a think and a discussion about that, then please do put that comment, that question in the comment section of wherever you are listening or viewing this, and we will try our best to get to it. Okay, sign up for the open, grab a t-shirt, make sure that you're subscribed, and all else I've got to say to you is peace.